Hello, this is Dr. Dave Maslach talking to you about reciprocity.com. The E is written with a 3. And in this particular video, I want to talk about how important mathematics is for a PhD. So if you don't know, I'm a professor of innovation strategy and entrepreneurship, and I'm trying to be as helpful as I possibly can. So I want to give back as much as I possibly can because there were so many people that helped me along the way to go into graduate school and become a professor. I'm going to give back and just freely give back. And hopefully you'll find this interesting. So I created this whole sharing economy proofreading platform, but then I'm doing these YouTube videos because I think it's very helpful for other people that are out there going through the same experiences that I went through. All right, so how important is mathematics for a PhD? So generally my answer is it depends, and it varies substantially. So on one side, it really does matter for some people, and in other areas, it doesn't necessarily matter. So generally, there is a spectrum of different disciplines that you can think of doing your PhD in. If it's really kind of traditionally more mathematical in your undergraduate degree, right, it is going to be much more mathematical in those particular disciplines like physics, engineering. I'm an engineer in my undergrad, so physics, engineering, finance, things like that, then those are definitely going to be a lot more mathematical, and you're going to require a mathematical understanding. But so here's the thing, that there are a lot of fields that are extremely mathematical as well that you would never consider, or there's people that are doing really cool mathematical kind of research in those fields that you would absolutely never consider, right? So psychology, for example, there's a group of people that are doing mathematical psychology that is really intensive. In my field, strategy, there's people doing sort of mathematical stuff. There's also people in sociology. There's whole journals that are dedicated to this kind of stuff. I think it's a journal of mathematical sociology that there is, really focused on mathematics and sort of quantifying or modeling is much more sort of a modeling exercise. I have a couple of colleagues that are really good at this kind of stuff, personal friends that are really good at this kind of stuff. And they have published in psychological journals, in psychology journals, really good psychology journals, published in really good math, management journals that are really quantitative heavy. And you'd be surprised in how quantitative they are and sort of mathematical intense they are. Very interesting stuff, but they're a small group, right, in those particular subfields. However, they generally have high esteem within those particular fields. They're somewhat esoteric in the stuff that they do, but they are considered very, they hire a lot. They have a lot of prestige in the stuff that they do. They're very so esoteric, not meaning in a negative way, in any sort of way. It's just, they're a small group that are doing this smaller sort of stuff like it's a smaller area, but a lot of people end up reading it or they find it very interesting. It's not sort of looked down upon in any sort of way. It's actually sort of looked at with high esteem, right? So that's something to think about. But so here's the thing. So my point is, even in the quantitative fields, the very intense quantitative fields, you don't necessarily have to have a very strong understanding of mathematics to do a PhD. It varies substantially. So you can do things that are very interesting that not a lot of people would consider mathematical in any sort of way, right? And you just have to go out and do those kind of things, right? So it varies in each field. So there's people that are doing much more, what is considered sort of softer, qualitative kind of stuff. And then there's stuff that are doing much more sort of mathematical, quantitative stuff. And it varies substantially across the fields. And they're both valued. They depending on the field that you're in, that one of them, the kind is going to be much more difficult because it's just in the journals. That it's going to be a lot more difficult to get your stuff reviewed and through. However, and it just depends on what field you're in and which one is more valued currently. And it changes. So my field it went through a major crisis about 15 years ago, 10 years ago, that there was nobody doing really, really qualitative stuff, like really substantially qualitative stuff. And it changed. And now it is well recognized that this is a way to do it. And that there is sort of a group of people that are actually doing that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of ebb and flow that happens. And really, it depends on people that are interested in those kind of things. But one thing that I do know is that that the models that are actually created, they have a lot of staying power. They stay a long time, right? So these models, people use them over and over and over again. Some of the classic models have been used many times over. Schelling, I think, is I'm blanking on his first name, but anyways, he did a model that was about segregation, I believe, and then it has been around for a long time, and people continuously use this. I think it's Thomas Schelling. So people continuously use this over and over and over again. This model is in it's a model that was developed, I think, in sociology, so my point is that that has a lot of staying power, but the people that are doing the qualitative stuff and doing things that you would consider not mathematical in any sort of way, they end up coming up with such crazy amazing insights that other people couldn't have done because they're on the ground, that they end up being extremely influential as well, because people just don't have those insights, right? So it's like, I'm blanking on her name, but the girl that went, the professor that went out to, and I apologize for that if there's women watching that. I didn't mean to be derogatory in any sort of way, but anyways, so the professor that went out into live with the apes, right? So this is a particular person that and I'm blanking on her name. I'm really bad with names, really bad. So, anyways, she went out in live with the apes and realized that like how apes live are so much more fascinating than we gave them credit for, right? That it was, we were studying it sort of in a quantitative sort of laboratory perspective, but then when you actually go live with them and you understand what's really going on, you get a great, rich understanding of the world, and that had huge impact, right? That people that we wouldn't have known without somebody doing that kind of research, right? And that's really important stuff. So hopefully this is important for you and helps you understand that doing a PhD is a very individual affair, and doing, whether you want to do sort of more mathematical stuff or qualitative stuff, they're both valued. And that they both have their own challenges in their tricky in their own individual ways, but they are both valued, and people would recognize you for doing amazing stuff. If you just do amazing stuff, just get out there and do really good stuff and take it seriously. So hopefully this answered your question about whether mathematics is important for a PhD. It is. It absolutely is. But then there's lots of people that do things that are not mathematical and do an extremely good job of that research, and they do amazing stuff that change the world, truly change the world and how we understand things, how things work, because they're not doing the mathematical stuff, right? But the modeling people, the people that are doing mathematical stuff, they are, building these really sophisticated, robust models that have a lot of impact, and they stay around for a long time. All right, so that's it. Give me a thumbs up if you like this video, and do subscribe to the YouTube channel. All right, take care. Bye.